Next up at UFC Vegas 44, we have Jake Matthews versus Jeremiah Wells. Jake Matthews 14-5 overall, 3-2 coming off of a submission loss to Sean Brady in his last five. Jeremiah Wells 9-2 overall, 4-1 in his last five, riding a 3-fight stoppage streak. Jake Matthews is a well-rounded guy. He's got solid wrestling, very good grappling, and a nice variety of strikes. He works angles well and has no problem mixing up body shots and head shots. He averages almost 2 takedowns per fight, but the big dig on him is his fight IQ and his willingness to trade punches when he should wrestle, or his willingness to grapple when he should stand up. The guy does not make the best decision. He gets very complacent and has issues with those transitions in MMA at times. But in any one given area, he could be the better fighter. It's moving from one to the other, knowing what he should be doing when that he struggles with at times. Jeremiah Wells came back after a 2-year layoff and knocked out Warley Alvarez. He is a big, powerful striker with explosive hands. But what everybody forgets is that Jeremiah Wells is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, an accomplished one at that. He throws wild and with intent, but the reality is that he is doing that to set up his takedowns and set up his jiu-jitsu. He's not there to strike. He's striking to grapple. This is a closer fight to call. This is another tough one. Jake has better wrestling, but so far Jeremiah has a 100% takedown defense in the UFC. Jake probably has the cleaner strikes, but Jeremiah has way more power. This fight could really go a few different directions. The biggest concern for me is Jake's decision-making skills. I mentioned before, we've seen him grapple when he should strike, or strike when he should grapple. I don't know if I could trust him at this point in his career to make the right decisions in those spots. I like Jeremiah to win the fight, but there is a clear path with the wrestling for Jake, which makes me nervous. I do have a bet on this fight. I did not go money line for Jeremiah Wells, but what I did do was inside the distance decision, no action on Jeremiah Wells, because he's so tough and very live, not only to win, but definitely for a finish. The money line is plus 140 right now. I got inside the distance decision, no action at plus 120. So I only gave up a few points. And what that bet means is if Jeremiah Wells knocks out Jake Matthews, stops Jake Matthews, beats Jake Matthews by finish, I get paid at plus 120. If Jake Matthews beats Jeremiah Wells by a decision, which is very likely with his wrestling and his grappling, I get a refund. No bet. I get my money back. No bet. Clean hands. No big deal. You're only going to get that. wewantpicks.com/bets. We have 5 partners. Bet Online is the partner with that safety net prop bet. I loved it. I only gave up a few points for the protection against a decision loss. Make a deposit. Let me know. I'll pay you $50. Jakey boy. That was my very long rant. What do you think?
I just put 2 units on that bet. I absolutely love that bet. Thank you for mentioning it. I do have like a quick story here.
Don't forget to pay me out 10% when it hits.
Right. Absolutely. Always. I do have a quick story here because I'm a Jacob. He's a Jake. I will say, growing up through school, anytime there was 2 Jacobs, I was always the Jacob. The other kids were always the Jake. So I have always, my entire life, resented anyone named Jake. And for that reason, Jeremiah Wells, congratulations, sir. You are the lock of the week. We had Pat Sabatini last week. We're doubling it up. We're taking this serious now, right? So if you guys don't know, I keep reiterating, lock of the week. We had like a crazy streak in the spring. Then we kind of got a little laxadays. We started having a little.
You.
We as a group, because this lock of the week is voted on by every member of We Want Picks. We got a little lackadaisical. I blame Angelo partially for that. But we're buckling back down. I put 4 units on Pat Sabatini. I guess it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago now. Jeremiah Wells, I absolutely love him. Love him for lock of the week. But I will say, if he does get tired and this goes to the third and he loses, not my fault. If he lunges forward trying to chase a knockdown, because he will lunge forward and throw big power shots, and when he does that, his hands are a little low, his chin's a little forward. If he gets flash knocked out by Jake Matthews going forward, also not my fault. Does not count. So lock of the week is Jeremiah Wells. I'd like him honestly to win anywhere in this fight. Even you mentioned the wrestling. Jeremiah Wells, you mentioned his jiu-jitsu. He is a black belt, and that's a Gracie black belt. That's one of those real life black belts, those Gracie black belts. So I don't think he's gonna have any issues. Maybe with the wrestling. That's kind of why I played the inside the distance bet, decision no action, because there is that wrestling with Jake Matthews. But Jake Matthews, he's been in the UFC since he was 19 years old. So he actually might be the more experienced fighter in this fight, even though he is I can't remember if he's the younger guy, but he's got a worlds of experience. But a guy that hasn't knocked somebody out since 2013, I don't think he's going to be able to KO Jeremiah, and I think he's going to have real issues because you can't KO him. I like Jeremiah all the way. Lock of the week for back-to-back.
Well, and I mentioned in my breakdown, Jake Matthews, I can't trust him to make the right decisions. And that's because we've seen him get taken down and just chill on his back.
And I do have one, speaking of the takedowns, I have one fun fact. Since 2017, Jake Matthews has not lost a fight where he has gotten a takedown, meaning if he does get a takedown, he wins the fight. If his last two fights that he lost, he did not get takedown. So that's a little fun stat for you. So if he gets a takedown versus Jeremiah, it's trending towards win. So if you're playing live bets, maybe that's something you might want to play.
Well, Jeremiah Wells, decent chin, jiu-jitsu black belt. I don't see him getting stopped, and that's why I love that inside the distance decision, no action bet. If you lose the decision, no big deal. I get a full refund. Obviously, we're not touching Jake Matthews at $9,100. I love Jeremiah Wells at $7,100 because I genuinely think he wins this fight. Monkey knife fight, interesting strike line because, man, Jeremiah Wells could just knock Jake's head off, or Jake could take Jeremiah down and just elbow in the face 100 times. So this is just, if you think Jake Matthews wins, probably more or more less. If you think Jeremiah wins, it's less more or less, right? What do you think?
Yeah, DraftKings is kind of interesting because I agree. I'll probably have Jeremiah in my lineup at $7,100. And we also said we're both going to have Zalgas in our lineup at like $6,800. So that's going to free up a lot of the big favorites, but a lot of the big favorites we don't really like that much. So yeah. DraftKings is going to be interesting this week for sure. You mentioned the monkey knife fight. What'd you say?
I said if you like Jake Matthews, it's a less more or a less less. If you like Jeremiah Wells, if you like Jeremiah,
I probably played less.
Yeah, I said that backwards, but yeah, I mean, if Jake Matthews gets takedowns, he's going to have a lot of strikes because it is every single strike that counts. Yeah, I'm not going to touch this one on draft or on Monkey Knife Fight, other than maybe Knockout Kings, where you pick any three fighters, any three, and if one of them wins a knockout, you get a 25% net return on your money. wewantpicks.com/MKF. It is easy. It is fun. I get so many questions in the comments every single week. What is that? What's the strike line? What's Monkey Knife Fight? wewantpicks.com/MKF. Just click the link, sign up. They'll give you a free deposit match. Use the free money. Play with that. Don't even play with your real human money. Play with the free money. Get a feel for it. Make some money. Come back. Thank us.